Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez is a legitimate super fight.
So here it's huge because the best is fighting the best, and it promises to be a great action fight. When the dust settles, the two in the winner's circles fight each other. That's a super fight. All Triple G wants to do is come to you so he can destroy you, and all Canelo wants to do is for you to come to him so he can beat you down. Their strengths play into each other beautifully. That is a great fight, really good for boxing.
Our next guests are part of arguably the biggest fight of the year. Yeah, I know there's that whole Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight happening, so let's fight about it, shall we? September 16th in Las Vegas, it is Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin, and they join us now with the Golden Boy himself in studio, Oscar De La Hoya. Stephen A. Max, take it away.
Well, there's no doubt. We're not talking about exhibitions or events. We're talking about boxing matches.
Right.
This is the biggest boxing match of the year, the most competitive, most sought-after ticket. Oscar, you came on this show on First Take months ago and promised us you would make this fight before the end of the year.
Yes, he did.
How did it come together? How'd you do it?
It's all teamwork. The fighters want to have the fight. They wanted to fight each other, and it was a matter of just making it happen. You can't make a fight without the fighters wanting to participate in a fight and wanting to be in a fight and show and prove to the fans that they want this fight. So it was a collaboration of everyone working together and making this happen.
I'm going to throw the first question at Canelo. Answer me this. Is it fair to say that it took too long to make this fight? The promoter extraordinaire that he is the one that delayed this. You have been wanting to fight this man. Is that fair to say?
No, yo creo que se hizo en el mejor momento. Se hizo en el mejor momento. Creo que
it was made in the best moment.
Creo que hay peleas que duran más tiempo en hacerse. Esta se hizo prácticamente una pelea de esta magnitud. Se hizo en muy poco tiempo.
There's other fights that were made and took longer, like obviously some fights that we know of. But this was at the best timing, the best moment, and yeah, it's the best timing.
Todo este tiempo estuvimos tratando de hacer la pelea y se dio en este momento. Creo que es el mejor momento para los dos.
All this time, it took us some time to make it, but it was all about the negotiations. It was all about, you know, him moving up to the middleweight division and being a middleweight. And so now it's finally here, and I can't wait.
Triple G, there are two sides, there are two angles when it comes to you. You've got some people who sat up there and they've said, well, we've seen some slippage in Triple G. He's getting hit a little bit more now than he was a couple of years ago.
Kell Brook, Danny Jacobs.
And then you have others who say he was doing that on purpose because people were hesitant to get into the ring with him. Which one is true?
No, right now it's a new story. Another story, you know. Canelo is Canelo, you know. My fight with Canelo is a different story. My fight with Kell or Daniel, this is a regular fight. You know?
Regular fight.
Regular fight. Right now is history fight. First step to history fight.
I think what Stephen A. is getting at is some people are saying not only did they wait until Canelo was a middleweight, they also waited till you're 35 years old, and some people say maybe he's slowing down. How do you feel at your age now? Are you the same fighter you were 5 years ago?
The same. I feel great. Like a 30, like 25 years old.
Canelo, meantime, as this fight wasn't happening, he got a reputation as the fight fans' favorite fighter. As popular as you are, if you talk to most boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans, who's your favorite fighter? A lot of them would say Triple G. He got that kind of reputation. I imagine for a guy with your pride, who's willing to fight anybody and who makes very exciting fights, that has to bother you. That he's considered the hardcore fans' favorite fighter. How do you feel about it?
No, creo que cada quien tiene sus fans. Él tiene sus fans, yo los míos. Yo estoy haciendo mi historia, tengo 26 años y no me molesta. Creo que cada quien hace lo suyo y cada quien tiene lo que merece al final.
We all have our own fan base, and everybody deserves their fan base. And you know, at the end of the day, we're going to create a great fight, a huge fight, and we're all just loved by everybody.
But real quick, I know you don't you haven't ducked anyone since you were 15 years old. You always fought grown men when you were 15, whoever they put in front of you, Floyd Mayweather when you were 22. So the fact that it was out there, Canelo's ducking Triple G, that has to bother a guy with your kind of warrior's mentality. Do you plan on taking that out on Triple G during the, like, are you angry about it?
Pues claro, claro que sí, voy a utilizar todo eso, ¿no? Pero sí, como lo dices, desde que tenía 15 años no le he temido a nadie y he peleado con todos hasta el momento y lo seguiré haciendo y todo eso me va a motivar para la pelea, me va a motivar muchísimo.
I've never ducked nobody since I was 15. You're correct, and you're right. I'm going to use all that motivation to take it out on him on September 16th.
Now, Oscar, let me get back to you because we've got, first of all, thank you again because you have kept your word. You're good with me, Oscar. You're good with me. But
why do you blame me for not making the fight?
Well, no, I didn't. Well,
he's giving you credit.
I'm giving you credit. You know, you're the promoter. I mean, I'm just giving you credit where it's due. But I got to ask you this. You've made some news recently. I'm looking at two super fights. This is the fight I've been waiting to see.
Right.
This, as far as I'm concerned, this could be the greatest fight of the decade, for crying out loud. We've waited a little while for this fight. You've delivered it to us.
About a year and a half.
That's right. But you've also spoken out against the exhibition that is coming up August 26th against Money Mayweather. Some people are looking at it and they're saying if Oscar had an opportunity to do it, if he had an opportunity to do Canelo versus Conor, he would have done it. If Oscar had an opportunity to do that fight, he would do it. Why is Oscar concerned about that fight when you've got a super fight like this coming up just weeks later?
Well, it's not that I'm concerned about it. It really doesn't affect this fight. This fight is the real fight.
Right.
This fight is the middleweight fight that the fans have been clamoring for a long time. And you take a look at the history of the middleweight division with Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Thomas Hearns, and Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, and now you have Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G. They're bringing boxing back to the glory days, and that's all that matters. Everything else is just like Triple G says, it's a show.
What's missing in boxing right now, Oscar?
Fights like these. Fights like these. And September 16th, believe me, boxing is back.
Well, we've been getting them this year, actually.
Absolutely.
These kind of fights.
This is the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and this is the best it gets. Oscar De La Hoya spent a career fighting everybody, fighting other great fighters. He won some, he lost some, but he always fought the great fighters. Canelo has gotten Cotto in the ring already. But you have not yet been in a fight against an opponent like Canelo, a fight where you can prove that you can't just beat good fighters, but you can beat a great fighter and therefore become yourself a great fighter. What does that mean to you?
I'm very excited. You're absolutely right, Max. Right now, I have great fighter. Canelo, he's a great fighter. You know, he's biggest fight to boxing, and of course, for me.
And do you guys like each other? Well, do you like each other?
You know, sometimes.
I mean,
sometimes.
I don't want you hating each other, but I don't want a love fest either now. I mean, what are we going to get September 16th?
These guys are sparred, Stephen A.
I know.
They've been in the ring sparring.
I know, but now they're fighting. They're fighting, and this is not a sparring session. I want to know how you guys feel about one another, and what do you think we're going to see September 16th?
Pues yo en lo personal no tengo nada con él, pero en el boxeo sí es una obsesión para mí. Sí es una obsesión para mí ganarle y bien. Creo que en lo personal nada, nos conocimos hace mucho tiempo y bien, nos tratamos bien y todo, pero en el boxeo sí siento una obsesión.
I have nothing against him personally, but when it comes to boxing, I have an obsession to beat him.
I like that.
The history of boxing has been that the money fighter gets the decision. Whoever's worth the most money to the boxing economy generally gets the decision. Once in a while, you get Pacquiao, Bradley, but you know, Oscar, we all know this has been the history of boxing. He is the biggest money fighter in boxing right now. Do you need to knock him out to win?
This is boxing, Max. This is boxing. You know, we're both professional athletes, professional boxers. You know, if I have chance, I did it. His chance, he didn't. He's finished.
I must say this, Max. You brought up who he fought. Let me turn to you. I mean, James Kirkland is all right, but I knew what you were going to do to him. I told 50 Cent what you were going to do to him, and you did it. Amir Khan, he's a nice fighter, but the jaw's questionable. I saw the dude get knocked out.
Lara, no one wanted to fight. He fought Lara, he fought Trout.
I understand that. All I'm saying is that you fought some quality fighters, but they were not on his level. So I'll throw the same question to you that Max threw to Triple G. Why is it that we should feel so confident about you against this dude, who is considered, and I say that affectionately or complimentary, he's considered a monster at the middleweight division? Any concerns at all?
He peleado con los mejores, los peleadores más difíciles en mi división. He peleado a mis 26 años.
At 26 years old, I fought the most difficult fighters at my age.
Y me siento confiado porque sé lo que puedo desarrollar arriba del cuadrilátero. Sé lo que he tomado de experiencia con todos esos peleadores y el entrenamiento que hago. Eso es lo que me da la confianza. El rival no, porque sé que es un rival fuerte, un rival agresivo, pero el entrenamiento y la experiencia me dan la confianza.
I feel confident. I feel confident in my abilities and the experience that I have in the fighters that I've faced to get me to this point. And obviously, I believe that my training regimen, my dedication to the sport is going to take me to the get the victory.
We're talking LeBron James nowadays and the kind of effect he's had on the business of the NBA from the player's point of view. Michael Jordan owns an NBA team. But you are a success story in boxing, not only a legitimately great fighter and the money man of your era. I mean, you gave Floyd a competitive fight. It was the end of your career. He was still in his prime. And you generated the biggest box office constantly throughout your era, even more than the heavyweights oftentimes, who were very good in your era. And now you've become a wildly successful promoter. And this is the biggest fight in boxing. And I would say this is the first time where you are by yourself as the lead guy promoting a fight of this magnitude. Can you tell me about what that's like?
Well, it's actually a dream come true, because being an ex-fighter myself, these are the dream matchups that you always think about. Being a promoter, it doesn't get bigger than this. I mean, Canelo versus Triple G will be the biggest fight, the best fight that one can make today. And I strongly feel that when I talk about the history of the middleweight division, this will be the icing on the cake for the middleweight division. And we're talking about the best of the best in that division. This fight here will be an incredible one.
And it's a great action fight. That's the thing. It's not just a great matchup, but their styles. There's no way this can be a bad action fight.
There you go trying to be a salesman. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
I don't know if
it's Canelo, it's Triple G. You're trying to be a salesman.
Well, here's the problem in boxing.
It's okay.
The problem in boxing is a lot of times by the time these guys get famous enough to make big fights, they're over the hill or they don't have entertaining styles. These guys can both fight and
they're in their
promise to
prime.
make an explosion.
And they're in their prime.
Let me make it simple. Thank you. Thank you. And definitely thank you. You kept your word. You're good with me forever, Oscar. You're good with me forever. We got to get on out of here. I can't wait. September 16th, I'm going to be in the house. I know this man's going to be in the house doing this thing. We got to kick it back to Jen. Take it away,
We got
Jen.
this guy some tickets?
Really good stuff, guys.